I think my sister-in-law's best friend is trying to get with my husband and his sister is encouraging it. Am I delusional? My sister-in-law, 23 female, is my husband's 28 male half-sister. She was the product of their mother's infidelity. His father divorced their mother when he was 12 after he found out through a paternity test she wasn't his. My father-in-law refused to have anything to do with my sister-in-law but continued to have a relationship with my husband. Because of this, my sister-in-law is very clingy to my husband. My husband is also very protective of his sister and generally doesn't tolerate anything negative being said about her, which is why I'm posting this here before mentioning anything to him. My husband and I bought a house last year which has its own indoor swimming pool. My sister-in-law was super excited when she saw it and asked if she could use it sometimes with her friend. We said it was fine as long as she gave us a notice before she turned up. Her and her friend Chloe have used it many times before, but almost never when my husband is home. He's a lawyer and works long hours. With lockdown, my husband has started to work from home. My sister-in-law asked me if she and Chloe could come over and use the pool. I told her I was uncomfortable with them coming over as I'm pregnant and don't want to accidentally expose the baby to anything risky. My sister-in-law then asked if she and Chloe quarantined for 2 weeks would they be able to come over. My husband said it was fine. 2 weeks later, they turn up to my house. My husband was in his office, so they go straight to the pool after making small talk. My husband ends up coming out after an hour and we're hanging out in the kitchen. My sister-in-law walks in to get a drink and she starts talking to my husband. Before she goes back to the pool, she says, "Chloe's going to be so happy to see you." It was weird because my husband and Chloe aren't close. Chloe comes into the kitchen 2 minutes later and spends the rest of her time talking to my husband until he excuses himself to go back to work. She's super giggly and smiling when she talks to him. He would say something sarcastic and she would laugh like it was the funniest joke she's ever heard. It honestly felt like she was flirting with him. Before she went back to the pool, she gave me this weird smirky look. Before they leave, they ask my husband if he's working from home every day of the week. He confirms he is. The next 2 weeks, they come over to the house to swim every single day, except Chloe never gets in the water. Instead, she hangs around the house in her bikini. She was previously wearing a one-piece if it makes a difference. Every single day. Whenever my husband comes out to hang around, she quickly interrupts him and keeps him talking until he has to go back to work. I made lunch for us all, and when I excused myself to call my husband down, my sister-in-law quickly stopped me and said Chloe could call him for me. They shared a look, and Chloe looked really happy when she went to get him. Chloe has also started to get touchier with my husband. She's put her hands on his chest and arms, stands or sits really close to him. To my husband's credit, he does usually I don't understand that. It's pissing me off already. To my husband's credit, he does usually create space between them whenever she does something like this. The reason I believe my sister-in-law is in on this is because she's made a few pregnancy-related jabs at me recently. She told me a story about how one of her friend's boyfriend was cheating on her, and it said something along the lines of, "Did you know a lot of men start cheating when their wives are pregnant?" I could already tell how annoying she would sound. She also made comments about how I look chubby now, and it looks weird next to my husband because he's well built. If she spots my husband out of the office, she quickly goes to inform Chloe. I know pregnancy hormones can mess with a person's brain, so I'm wondering if I'm just looking for something that isn't there. My sister-in-law sent me a text yesterday asking if they could come over to swim next week, and I really want to say no, but I know she'll whine to my husband if I do. I ideally want to have a conversation with him before then, but I'm not sure if I should mention the flirting. Am I being delusional? I mean, there was an update. It was just a bit of a long update, basically saying that she talked to her husband, and her husband noticed what the friend was doing, and that he wasn't okay with it. So they called sister-in-law, and sister-in-law was basically saying, like, "I'm sad that you're having a baby. I hope I hope the baby dies," or something like that. I think that's what she said. And she was just upset. And yeah, and basically, he was like, "If you can't respect my wife or my new family, then don't come around." Then they made up, and then him and OP are going to counseling. That's basically what the update was about. But for you to be pregnant and your sister-in-law to be bringing other women around your husband, that's crazy. At least her husband is a good man and he didn't let that slide, because some men are dumb. And stories like these just piss me off, because how can some people just have the audacity? Am I wrong for kicking my brother out of my house after what he did at my daughter's 15th birthday? I, 38 female, have a 15-year-old daughter, Emma. For her birthday, I decided to throw a small gathering at our house with her best friend, Mia, and a few family members. My brother, Evan, 45 male, offered to help out. Emma adores Evan. He's the cool uncle who always jokes around and treats her like an adult. I've always been uneasy about how permissive he is, but I never imagined he'd cross such a massive line. The evening started with fine music, snacks, and laughter. At one point, I stepped away to finish some work, trusting Evan to keep an eye on things. About an hour later, I went to check on them. I couldn't find Emma, Mia, or even Evan anywhere. After asking a few guests, someone said they were in Emma's bedroom playing board games. I had a bad feeling about it, so I headed upstairs. What I walked into made my stomach drop. Maya was half passed out, slumped on the bed in Emma's room, barely able to sit up and throwing up all over herself. Emma and Evan were hovering over her, both panicked and trying to keep her awake. I immediately demanded to know what had happened. Emma looked petrified and didn't say much, but Evan calmly, almost nonchalantly admitted he had let them drink. When I pressed for details, he shrugged and said Mia had about 60 ml of vodka. Over here it says 600, but she said that in the comment section later that it was 60, so she got it wrong. 60 ml of vodka. He said it was like no big deal, casually adding, "It's fine. I was supervising them." I was horrified. Mia was barely conscious and struggling to even breathe properly, and Evan acted like this was normal. I called an ambulance right away, and Mia was rushed to the hospital. The doctors confirmed she had alcohol poisoning. Thankfully, she'll recover, but the situation could have ended far worse. I was shaking with guilt, fury, and disbelief. When I got back home, I unleashed all my anger on Evan. I told him he had crossed an unforgivable line by putting two 15-year-olds in danger. He tried to justify himself, saying teens are going to drink anyway, and he thought it was better if they did it around him. He even smirked while saying it, which made my blood boil. I told him to pack his things and get out of my house immediately. I also told him he's not welcome around Emma until further notice. What crushed on me the most when Emma later admitted tearfully that this wasn't the first time Evan had let her drink with him. She begged me not to cut him off and said I was overreacting, claiming Evan didn't mean for things to go far. She also blamed me for ruining her birthday and won't speak to me now. I'm devastated and furious all at once. I feel like I failed to protect my daughter, but at the same time, I can't just forgive Evan for what he did. Emma doesn't see it that way, though, and thinks I'm being unfair. Of course, Emma doesn't see it that way. She's 15. What does the 15-year-old teenage girl know? At the end of the day, like, why is a 45-year-old grown adult man trying to get 15-year-old girls pregnant? What? 15-year-old girls drunk. Why did I say pregnant? 15-year-old girls drunk. That's so weird. I remember someone saying in the comment section, like, it must be some sort of grooming going on if he is, this calm and nonchalant about it. And if he had got them drunk before, maybe something else is going on and OP needs to look into it. And honestly, I couldn't agree more, because in this day and age where people are just so weird, you just never know what's going on. Why is he so eager to get two 15-year-old girls drunk? And not even drunk. She got alcohol poisoning drunk. Damn, that's crazy. If I was OP, I would watch out for this brother, because some people, they're not your family. They're just your enemies.